Yes, good morning, students. Today we are going to start from part 4 of the same chapter, page 125. You have read in the third part that she reached to the town and she did not get off the bus, though the conductor was again and again insisting that she should go down and have the beautiful scenes, wonderful scenes, and the sights of the towns, the market, the city, etc. And he even offered her the drink also and told that it would not cost her anything, but she did not get off the bus as she was not having extra money to buy anything. And moreover, her only purpose of coming was to have a ride in the bus. She did not want to go inside the town and see the wonderful scenes or the beautiful markets in the town. Her only aim was to have a ride in the bus only. So she gave the money and told him to give the ticket for return journey and waited for the bus to start. Again, this time also there were not many passengers as in the beginning when the bus started there were only 6 to 7 passengers, and now also there were not many passengers. Now let's start with part 4. The conductor asked the girl, "Won't your mother be looking for you?" The conductor asked when he gave the girl her ticket. "No, no, no one will be looking for me," she said. "No one will be waiting for her." She was sure about this thing. The bus started, and again there were the same wonderful sights. The bus started for the return journey from the town to the village, and she could see again the wonderful sights which she had seen already while coming to the town. Valley was not bored in the slightest and greeted everything with the same excitement she had felt the first time. And she was still feeling the same excitement, same enthusiasm to look at those beautiful sights which she had seen while coming to the town. But suddenly she saw a young cow lying dead by the roadside, just where it had been struck by some fast moving vehicle. Then suddenly she noticed that there was a young cow that had been lying on the roadside dead, and it might have been struck by some fast moving vehicle. Due to that accident, the cow had died and was lying on the roadside only. Isn't that the same cow that ran in front of the bus on her trip to town? She asked the conductor. And just to show her inquisitive nature or her uh, excitement to know about the thing, she asked the conductor, "Is it the same cow?" You must remember that when they were going towards the town, on the way, she noted down that there was a cow that came in front of the bus. And as the driver was giving horn loudly, the cow was getting frightened and jumping on the road, and she was enjoying that scene with clapping and enthusiasm. Now she was asking the conductor whether it was the same cow that ran in front of the bus or on our trip to town when they were going towards the town. उस टाइम पे जो कॉ उनके बस के सामने आ गई थी, क्या ये वही कॉ है? The conductor nodded. Nodded means he just moved his head in positive, and she was overcome with sadness, and she became very sad after knowing this thing. What had been a lovable, beautiful creature just a little while ago had now suddenly lost its charm and its life and looked so horrible, so frightening as it lay there, legs spread eagle, a fixed stare in its lifeless eyes, blood all over. She started thinking and was lost in her deep thoughts that this creature, which she had already seen, was a very lovable, beautiful creature. But now suddenly it had lost its charm, its life also, and looking very horrible and frightening because now the cow was lying on the road with spreading her legs and showing lifeless eyes, and the body was covered with the blood. The bus moved on, The memory of the dead cow haunted her, dampening her enthusiasm. She no longer wanted to look out the window. And bus again started moving. The memory of the dead cow haunted her, and that scene of the dead cow she could not remove from her mind. It was haunted her again and again, coming into her mind, and she was getting frightened and sad, and it was just dampening, that means suppressing her enthusiasm. She no more wanted to look out of the window. She did not want to enjoy the scenes outside the window as she was excited to for them earlier. She sat thus glued to her seat until the bus reached her village at 3:40, and she kept on sitting on her seat fixedly, did not move here and there, did not stand, and the bus reached to the village at 3:40. What she had expected, according to her planning, bus will start at 1, reach in the town at 1:45, and she would be back by 2:45. But now she reached at 3:40. She stood up and stretched herself. Then she turned to the conductor and said, "Well, sir, I hope to see you again." And she got up from the seat and stretched her body and turned towards the conductor. And in a very good and hopeful manner, she told the conductor that she would hope to see him again. That means that shows her friendly nature, good nature, that she was having hopeful attitude. "Okay, ma'am," he answered, her smiling. "Whenever you feel like a bus ride, come and join us, and don't forget to bring your fare." See, again, in a very jolly nature, the conductor also answered smilingly that whenever she wanted to have a bus ride, she can come and join, but she should not forget to bring her fare. Kiraya lana nahi bhulna. That was that she was very uh, hopeful, and even the conductor was also answering and talking to her in a very good, jolly manner. She laughed and jumped down from the bus. Then away she went, running straight for home. And she also started laughing and jumping from the bus. She went directly towards her home. When she entered her house, she found her mother awake and talking to one of Valley's aunts, and the one from South Street. And when she entered, she expected that the mother would be sleeping because 1 to 4, as the time was told, that she used to take rest. But when she entered, she found her mother awake, and she was talking to one of her aunts who lived in South Street. This aunt was a real chatterbox. Chatterbox, you understand, you have read the word already in chapter 4 from the Diary of Annie Frank, a person who is very much talkative. And this aunt was a real chatterbox, never closing her mouth once she started talking. कि वो अपना मुंह खोलती और कभी भी इसको बंद नहीं करती थी. That means continually she kept on talking. "And where have you been?" said her aunt when Valley came in. Mother did not ask anything, but the aunt asked the question, "Where have you been?" She spoke very casually, not expecting a reply. She did not expect any answer and spoke casually, just asked the question that where she was. So Valley just smiled, and her mother and aunt went on with their conversation. She just kept on smiling. She didn't answer, and both of them, mother and her aunt, they were having conversation. "Yes, you are right," her mother said. "So many things in our midst and in the world outside. How can we possibly know about everything? And even when we don't do know about something, we often can't understand it completely. Can we?" Now, see, in this paragraph, the writer has tried to convey the message. When she said, "Yes, you are right," her mother said. So, what the conversation they were having, Valley did not know, but the mother answered, "You are right. So many things in our midst and in the world outside." She said, "Ki there are many things which happen among us or in the world outside. How can we possibly know about everything? It's not possible that every time we must know each and everything happening around in the world. And even when we do know about something, we often cannot understand it completely. Can we?" Suddenly asked a question. "Ki sometimes it happens that we know something about something, but we cannot understand it." What he is referring to, there are many things happening in the world around us, and sometimes we don't know about those things. But if we know about something, we don't understand that completely. It happens in our daily life also. Oh, yes, breathe valley. And both of the ladies, the mother and aunt, were having conversation, whereas Valley interfered in between. She said, oh, yes. Now, what? Asked her mother. What is that you say? The mother asked, what you are saying? You don't know what we are talking about and what you are answering. Oh, said Valley, I was just agreeing with what you said about things happening without our knowledge. Says, I just want to show this thing that I agree with your point of view that the things happen around us without our knowledge also. It is not always that we have the knowledge of the things or the events happening around us. Sometimes the things happen without our knowledge also. What she is referring here is about the death incident of the car, what she had seen on the road, whereas the mother and aunt they were talking something else, and Valley was relating the same point with her own incident which she had seen. Just a chit of a girl she is, said her aunt, and yet look how she pokes her nose into our conversation, just as though she were a grown lady. This aunt again gives a comment that she is such a smart girl that she is poking her nose into our conversation. What is poking her nose? That means to take interest in something that does not concern her, कि जिस चीज से आपका मतलब नहीं है, आपका लेना देना नहीं है, उसमें आप इंटरफेयर करो या उसमें इंटरेस्ट लो. That is poking her nose. And the aunt gives the comment that the girl is poking her nose into their conversation as if she was a grown up lady. Welly smiled to herself. She had did not want them to understand her smile, but then there was not much chance of that, was there? Welly smiled again because she did not want them to understand her smile, why she was smiling, what she had in her mind, and they would not come to know about it. There was no chance of this thing that they would come to know from where she had come and what she was thinking about. So she just smiled and went away from that place. In this way, what is the thing she wanted to convey? That she might have heard about the word death somewhere at this age of 8 years old, but she might not have known the meaning of the word death, nor she understood this word. This is the idea which has been conveyed that sometimes we know about the things, but we do not have the understanding of that word or something. So, accordingly, now she realized and she understood about the meaning of the word death also. Look at the questions given at the end of part 2 on page 122. Why does the conductor call Belly ma'am? The conductor calls ma'am Belly as ma'am because she commandingly gave the order to stop the bus. She offered the money. She was traveling alone, and she told that she was not a child. She can look after herself. So, in this way, looking at all these things, the conductor considered her as a very grown up girl and called her with respect as madam. Why does Veli stand up on the seat? Because she was not able to have the complete view of the outside from the window, as she found her view cut off by a canvas blind that covered the lower part of her window. So she stood up on the seat and looked out over the window. And what does she see now? She could see on the one side there was the canal, and beyond it, the palm trees, grassland, distant mountains, and the blue sky. On the other side, there was a deep ditch and the acres of green fields. So far as her eyes go, she could see only the green fields on the other side. What does Veli tell the elderly man when he calls her a child? When the elderly man calls her a child, Veli just told him that she was not a child. There was nobody there who was a child. and even she had paid her 30 paisa like everyone else. Why didn't Veli want to make friends with the elderly woman? Veli did not want to make friends with the elderly woman because she found her very repulsive, having big holes in her ears, and she was wearing very ugly earrings, chewing betel nuts, and she felt that the betel juice could fall down on her lips. And no one could be social with such type of a lady. So in this way, she did not like that elderly woman who sat along with her on the seat. Now come to the questions given at the end of part 3 on page 125. First question is, how did Belly save the money for her first journey? Was it easy for her? Belly saved the money by collecting each and every coin, whatever she had, by spending the money very carefully. She resisted her temptation for eatables, toys, balloons, and she did not even go to merry-go-round in the fair also. It was not an easy job for a child of 8 years. One could not resist too much as she did because she had the desire only to have a ride in the bus. What did Belly see on her way that made her laugh? Belly saw a young cow running at fast speed right in the middle of the road, right in front of the bus. As the bus slowed down, the driver sounded his horn loudly again and again, but the cow was jumping and getting frightened, always right in front of the bus only. She enjoyed the scene very much with clapping and continued laughing. Why didn't she get off the bus at the bus station? She did not get off the bus at the bus station because she did not want to go down and enjoy the scenes in the market or in the town, as she did not have enough money. She had collected the money only for going and coming back. That means 60 paisa only. She did not want to go down and enjoy and buy anything unnecessarily. Next question, why didn't Valley want to go to the stall and have a drink? What does this tell you about? Again, the same reason you can give that Valley did not want to go to the stall and have a drink because she did not have money and she did not want to enjoy the scenes of the town. Her only desire was to have a ride in the bus. And this tells us about the character of this girl that she is shown as very intelligent, careful, proud, and self respecting girl, as she did not even accept the drink offered by the conductor, also. Now, look at the questions given at the end of the chapter on page 127.